The Arab Spring protests have now led to the downfall of dictators in Tunisia, Egypt, and Libya. Joining us now again, two people who have taken part in these protests. Sama Abdelaziz took part in the demonstrations in Cairo's Tahrir Square. He's co-founder of the Atlanta Arab Committee. And Ali Jibril is a Libyan expatriate who rushed to Tripoli after the city fell. And Ali, you first, seeing Colonel Gaddafi lying there, what goes through your mind as a Libyan?
As a Libyan, first of all, we can see the closure here after all these years. The Libyan people who waited for this moment and dreamed, some of them did not live to see this moment where Gaddafi is not there, is not part of their life anymore. The other thought is the heavy price, the casualties, the injured, and the dead, the martyrs, the lives that we lost, thousands upon thousands have been lost just to reach this moment. These two thoughts come to my mind at the same time.
Do you think it's important that an autopsy be done to see whether, in fact, he was executed after he was captured? Would a capture and keeping him alive and trying him, would that have been different? Does it matter to you? Do people question whether the new people coming in will act in a way that is democratic if this is the way they get rid of Gaddafi?
You have to remember that this came at the end of a very horrific and very terrible and very scary and costly war. So the psyche of the people, the psychological or the mindset for them, maybe is not as we expected, that they demand an autopsy, they demand this, they demand that. We have to understand what they went through all these months and actually all these years. So maybe in the minds of some Libyans, maybe this is not necessary. And of course, some will demand that, some will keep asking the question how he was died and who killed him and all that.
But in the end, it's about a transfer of power. It's about a
Exactly.
democracy,
it's a new
or at
beginning.
least a new beginning. A new beginning. Well, let's talk about that, because do you feel, we all saw those pictures of President Hosni Mubarak in the cage as he was being tried. What about the government now? Is it what you expected? Because the military is still in control. Was that a real shifting from a dictator to a democracy, or was that simply something else?
Deborah, this is a beautiful question, but before I start, I was not in Tahrir Square when it happened.
Okay.
I was actually demonstrating next to CNN
That's
since
like
the
Tahrir
first.
Square.
Exactly. So it is our Tahrir Square.
Okay.
However, I visited Egypt immediately after Hosni Mubarak left the government, just to see and enjoy and talk to people over there. So this is
We appreciate
just
that.
one comment.
Okay.
Regarding your question, I'll tell you that I came to your show immediately after or during the revolution, and definitely I understood the difficulty of the transition. However, I believe it proved to be much more difficult than what I expected. You're absolutely right. It shows multiple things. There is a joy, there is a hope that we didn't have before, because we knew Hosni Mubarak, we knew the regime for 32 years, and there was no hope that it would reform. Today, we don't have exactly what we asked for. However, we still have the young people that started all of this. They still insist on something that's shared between all people around the globe. It's freedom, it's democracy, it's giving their kids better life.
The difference I see between Egypt is at least there was a government that immediately stepped in. Is that the case in Libya? Is there something that can immediately replace what is now lost? Or is there a possibility that whereas the military is in control in Egypt, that's not going to be the case? There's going to be a lot more chaos in Libya.
I expect that things will go smoothly because people have gradually gained their freedom, and Libya was liberated step by step, town by town, and the people became very familiar and very linked to the National Transitional Council. So it became a representative in the minds of the people. So and people, they understood it's a transitional period, And they have experienced 8 months living with Mustafa Abdul Jalil, for example, the head of the NTC.
Right.
And there isn't that such a power vacuum as we expected. I think there is expectation that things will go smoother than some people think.
Okay, well, I could actually sit here for the next hour or two and speak with you, but gentlemen, we are so grateful for you coming and sharing your insights, and clearly such an interesting time for the Arab world, and it's going to be fascinating to meet again in 10 years to see where each country is and where the young people, what they have done to change the futures. Gentlemen, thank you very, very much. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Deborah.